Hey YouTube, it's Morgan, aka The Mountaineer. It's early Sunday morning, June 20th. It's Father's Day, and it's also West Virginia Day. But I'm actually not in West Virginia today. I'm in Maryland. I'm in Western Maryland. My family and I came up to my hometown to spend the weekend with my parents, see my granddad and aunt. And this hike I've wanted to do for a little while. Just about 2.2 miles or so, but it has a pretty good overlook at the end. Apparently, I think the whole way is kind of a road like this, so hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. Fair bit of elevation gain, but I didn't look at the car at the temperature, but I'd say it's probably 65 or so out, so pretty comfortable. My feet are already getting a tiny bit wet from the dew, but this should be hopefully a pretty fun little hike. There's the road / trail I've been taking. But as you can see on that tree, a white blaze caught my attention. And here's a map. Big Savage Mountain hiking trail. This way. I don't know if you can see that other blaze on that tree down there right in the middle. But it's like an 18-mile or so trail that I'd like to someday do. It starts near the Savage Dam and ends up almost at I-68 up toward Frostburg, Maryland. As you can see, I just came up from that way. Just a tiny little creek or spring or something. Someone's had a fire there in the past. But anyway, yeah, I'd like to someday do that trail. And I'm gonna keep on going on this one. Well, I'd say I'm near the top. It's been a beautiful day so far. It's overcast, but I like when it's overcast. Oh, I've been sitting on this foundation, and the tripod is set up on another piece of it, And there's one behind it, one here, which I think you can see. There's that huge chimney, and there are ones on either side. And behind that chimney, I'm guessing maybe the door was right there. There's a rock, and then there are steps carved into the rock. But I guess this was probably like a ranger's cabin. I don't know this, I'm just totally guessing. But I'm guessing probably they'd be up here for a while, have a shift, a certain amount of time, and just stay here and then be up in the lookout tower here and look around, see if there are fires or anything. I'll have to search and see if I can find a history on this place. It'll be interesting to know, if my assumptions are correct or even anywhere close to the mark, and when this cabin was built, what happened to it. But I can see 2 chunks of railroad tie, and they were apparently a part of something. I mean, they have rock and stuff attached to it, so I'm guessing they were part of the cabin or the fireplace. But I don't know how much, if you can see much of a ridge line or anything behind me, but I mean, the views are spectacular. I'm guessing that on a clear day you could probably see ridge lines even further out. But we came up Friday. I've been planning this for a while. I thought, well, it's been a long time since we've just come up to Kaiser, just just basically to hang out and visit. No real big agendas or anything, nothing going on, and then go do some stuff I've wanted to do. So came up Friday, got in Friday evening, hung out, and then yesterday morning I was planning on doing this hike yesterday, and I set my alarm, but I don't remember ever hearing it. I don't know if it went off and I shut it off or what, but I can see one patch of blue sky out that way and a little patch there. But anyway, so obviously I didn't get to take or hike yesterday, but we hung out at the house for a good while, and then all of us went out to Fort Ashby, a town at the other end of the county. And there's actually an old, I believe, pre-Revolutionary War fort, one of a series, and it's really basically just an old log cabin. And they have a little museum. Didn't go to it or anything, but right across the street from that is the drive up to the cemetery where my mom's parents are buried, and hadn't been out there for a long time. I'm not sure if my wife has ever been, and I know my sons haven't, but went up and visited their grave site, and were telling the boys about them, how they're related and stuff. And then right beside their grave is my grandmother's parents, and they had both passed away before I was born. Great grandfather died, I guess, when Mom was pretty young, and then my great grandmother died a year and a half or so, I think, before I was born. But visited them, and then we went to Patterson's Creek, which is a little community where Grandma and Pop moved whenever they retired, and Grandma was from that area, and pointed out their old house, and went down, and it's basically right across. I mean, it bumps up against the Potomac River, so it's right across the border from Maryland. But Dad was pointing out some of his family's old house, but you really couldn't. You could make out patches of it, but it had grown up, and apparently it's just kind of a nice old brick house, but it's just kind of been run down. They haven't maintained it. But then we went over and crossed into Maryland and Cumberland, and went through the Narrows, which is just like a gap between Cumberland and LaVale. But at the Narrows, there's an old store called the Fruit Bowl. Grandma used to go there all the time, but they essentially have produce and candy, and we bought way too much candy. but then we went to Dietri's, a restaurant in LaVale that I love. It's an Italian restaurant. I might have ordered something actually Italian once or twice there, but mostly when I go, I get their cheesesteak sub, which is just delicious. I mean, it's something that I look forward to eating. But they have old-fashioned sodas. When I was growing up, they had Coke. Now they've switched over to Pepsi products, but they'll put syrups in with them. They'll put chocolate in it, which sounds odd, but it's actually pretty good. Cherry, and then I think vanilla, but I got a cherry Pepsi and had like 3 of them. And so I actually ate just barely over half of the sandwich. But then we came home, and on the way I took a detour to go down a really pretty road in West Virginia, crossed back over into West Virginia at Rocket Center, West Virginia, and took Waxler Road. But one stretch of it, you're up along a ridge line, and there's some nice houses built along there, but the view out to the east is amazing. But then we got home, hung out for a bit, then we went to my aunt's and saw Granddad for a bit, and we got in her pool. The water was cold. The boys got in, and they don't seem to have the same aversion to cold water that I do. My aunt got in, and then I finally dove in and was frozen and sat for probably 10 or 15 minutes, just sat on the stairs kind of bundled up while I got acclimated to the water. But it took quite a while. Then swam around for a good while, and then just came home and hung out. Well, we stopped at Dairy Queen and got dinner and ice cream on the way home. But then got up early this morning and came out here, and then on the way home, even though I'm in Western Maryland right now, and on West Virginia Day, we are on the way home going to stop at Blackwater Falls State Park and go out a real small, easy trail called Lindy Point Trail. If you saw my hike and pipe video from October where my cousins and I backpacked, the second overlook, the set of pictures and clips from that, that's Lindy Point. It's about 0.4 miles long, so it'd be 0.8 miles out and back. According to All Trails, the app that I use, it's only about 49-foot elevation change. Heavily trafficked, so it shouldn't be too hard for everyone. But, probably go down and see the falls from that side, which I've never been down that overlook. Usually there's an overlook, a little trail down to the overlook at the other side. But we'll make our way home, and then tomorrow we have the day off. And my wife and I do. I think my boys still have the summer academy tomorrow. But we might go over to my in-laws. I don't know. Maybe do some housework. Mostly do a little R&R. Next week for me is going to be a crazy week. But yeah, we Thursday got the announcement, heard that Biden had signed the law making Juneteenth a federal holiday. which if you're not in America, Juneteenth celebrates, I think it was 1865. So this would be the 166th, 56th anniversary of slavery totally being abolished in America. It took a while for the word to get out, even after Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves. So pretty big deal, pretty important thing. But yeah, Biden signed the law in Thursday, and it caused a huge scramble. Working in payroll and stuff, we were worried that banks might mess up the banks, and we were afraid that people might not be able to get their pay since Friday was payday. But we called around to a few of the major banks, and they said it's really not going to change anything since it was such short notice. So that was nice, and then the governor declared it a holiday. So he let state executive employees, employees under the executive branch of the state government, have the day off, and then found out I got the day off too. So this turned into a 4-day weekend. Today's West Virginia Day, tomorrow's the observation, and as a state employee, I get the day off. So nice 4-day weekend, a little unexpected. Oh, I'm smoking Latakia Flake, McBaron Latakia Flake, and a Brian Doran from 2020. I'd classify this as a chimney. It's got a fairly narrow bowl, very tall. It's been doing pretty well with this flake. I actually packed this like around Memorial Day. Opened the tin, packed the pipe, and as I was finishing packing it, my cousin and his, I guess now fiance, I saw a picture on Facebook with her wearing a ring. So if you guys are watching this, congratulations. But they showed up, so I just put it away, and then before we left Cape, and just basically bagged this up in a Ziploc bag. So it's been sitting there for a while, but ready to smoke. But it's my first bowl of Latakia Flake, and I'm really enjoying it. Very tasty. I made my coffee a while ago and had my first cup. I think I still have about 2/3 or so of a cup left in here. Ought to be nice and warm. Well, I have most of a cup. Oh, I just did that over my mic cord. So now I'm gonna I'm really bad about getting something in my hands. I get something in my hands and then I have I never put it down. I'm sure you've probably noticed that I have a tendency to just always hold on to my lighter and tamper. I mean, I use them probably more than I should, but I just get them in my hand and never put them down. So then when I go to do something, I always start it with crap in my hands, and then it takes me an embarrassingly long time to realize, hey, I could set this stuff down, and then I could do whatever I'm trying to do a lot easier. Oh, that's good. When I twisted this thing up, I looked and there was still some water in it, so I let it sit for a while to let that water go down through the coffee. And I thought, wow, I wonder why I did that. I took my time turning it, and I realized I had actually kind of tamped the coffee in yesterday, because I prepped this last night, but yesterday morning I made it and drank one cup and poured Dad the other cup. But it was good, but it was just, I was like, man, this could be a little bit stronger. So I thought, well, maybe if I tamp it down, that'll make a difference. And it did. It's really tasty. But I'll just have to remember in the future, if I do that I need to just wait a few minutes after I twist it to remove the apparatus and get to the coffee. Excuse me. I don't know if you could pick up that mourning dove, but they've been flying all around. There was a woodpecker on a tree right over here earlier. Couldn't tell whether or not it was a red-headed woodpecker, but I got up this morning, went to the bathroom, and I looked out the window into my parents' backyard, and there was a cardinal back there, and I thought, well, that's a good sign for West Virginia Day. And on the way up, I went past my grandparents' house, and shortly after their house, you curve to the right and then go straight, and I hear a plane. I sure don't see it. Oh. I guess he must be up above the clouds. But anyhow, I saw a deer out the road. I was out toward my great uncle's old house, and but I went along Piedmont Road out to Piedmont, and then crossed the river to get into Maryland, and then went up through Westernport and up here, and it was a beautiful drive. I'd never been up into like the neighborhood area of Westernport, and Google Maps was not doing a very good job of telling me where to go and stuff. It was kind of slow or something, I don't know. Maybe I made a wrong turn here and there, but I got at one point, and at one point it was telling me to go the wrong way on a one-way road, and it was telling me to go, well, there was a section of a road closed, and it didn't have that on it, so I luckily was able to go around. But man, it was a beautiful country up here. But I saw multiple deer. I think I saw either a red tail or an owl. It was either a plump red tail or an owl up on a power pole. Deer, I think I saw a red tail fly off when I was coming up the trail. Whenever I got out of the car and before I started going, deer crossed the road a little ways from me. So it's been nice hearing lots of birds. And I'm not hearing them now, but the whole way up the trail, the cicadas were just roaring. I mean, they were loud. And I mean, I can hear it a tiny bit, but I don't know if I'm up high enough or something, or if it's just there's enough wind noise, that it's kind of drowning it out. But I'm glad that I'm not hearing it really much. But anyhow, it's been a really good hike so far, a really great weekend. Longer than expected, which was nice. Still have a little hiking left to do today, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. I don't know that I'll have many pictures or anything on the way out. This wasn't exactly a scenic trail other than when you got up here, but really probably a fire road, forest road. But anyhow, I'll be probably taking some pictures on my other trail as long as we're able to get out there, and I'll add those to the end. But anyhow, if I don't get another chance to say it, guys, thanks for tuning in.